You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Head is so mixed up, I don't know what to do. I'm missing you. If you were look inside my heart, you see the words I speak are true. Baby, you complete me. Now you wanna leave me. Can't stop the tears from falling. But baby, my world just turned around. The day I know going. Won't you play the piano for me? For me, for me. But baby, if the worst was
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy for the wonderful introduction. As always, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, the Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 457. This episode is a little different today. We're talking about the WNBA trade deadline, which is tomorrow, Thursday, as we're recording this, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have Brenden Potts, who's with us. Brenden, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get past this trade deadline because like some other fans of the W, it's kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety. But I'm glad that we're going to talk about this in just a second. But I'm glad that my team's pretty active in the trade deadline. It seems like the last couple of years they haven't been, and I'm glad that this year they're looking to make the right moves towards their ultimate goal, and that's a championship.
Yeah, I was surprised for the Mystics, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. Two teams. It was actually one team I'm not surprised that made a trade. 'Cause I think that was bound to happen because I just think of the dynamic of the situation and how all that transpired. But I don't think it's over yet. I still think there'll be more trades. But at the same time, I don't think there's going to be much because honestly and truthfully, like we got to take consideration salary cap, some maybe potential sellers, buyers, and at this point, again, majority of the players will be free agents after this season. So those are things to be taken into consideration. But we're actually going to start with our teams respectfully as we're talking about the trade deadline. And that was we're going to audible on that. We're going to talk about the first trade that happened, the Dallas Wings and the Minnesota Lynx, which was not surprising. And the Dallas Wings traded Dejanay Carrington to Minnesota for Diamond Miller, Carly Samuelson, and a 2027 second-round pick. Also, Tierra McCowan was waived as a separate transaction, and Carly Samuelson was waived as part of this transaction with the trade for Dejanay. Carly will be using their facilities as she recovers from her season-ending injury. Just your thoughts on the trade, Brenden.
Yeah, first shout out to Dallas for doing that for Carly. That's a really big thing for them to do for a player that they are essentially waiving. But I do like the Diamond Miller piece for Dallas. This is kind of, it's kind of a given, the direction that Dallas is is going. They're a rebuilding team. I think we all can see that. Um, but um, in that sense, Diamond Miller's a great pickup. I think Minnesota gave her a taste of success that she never got to see the floor on. Um, or, the taste of success of a team she never got to see the floor on. Um,
Are we
so
talking pros or college?
in the pros, in the pros.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah. So Dallas gives her a chance to develop her game and play with younger talent. So Dallas is a team that is set to develop a lot of their younger players. So I think Diamond's gonna get a lot of PT the rest of the season for Dallas. Um, and they get another pick. So the with a team like Dallas, a rebuilding team, the more picks the better. Um, so especially with I believe there's still going to be a lot of talent coming in the 2027 draft. So that should be a deep draft as well. So I like this trade for Dallas. It gives when Dejanay Carrington came back from injury and he was relegated to the bench, but JJ Quinterly has been playing really well. So she deserves a shot to start. Um, when Dejanay was relegated to the bench, it became very clear that he was Dallas was not a permanent home for her, at least for the season. Or Dallas wasn't going to be her home for much longer. Um, I'm glad that she gets a chance to showcase her full potential while competing for a championship once again. Because I know when she is in that or given that motivation, like she was with Connecticut, she's a really good two way player. I think she's one of the best two-way players in the league, and I did a whole piece on that when the first time Dallas came to Seattle.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna start on the Dallas side because there's something you said about with Diamond Miller as far as taste of success. The way you worded that was a little that's a little weird in terms of success. I think people have to understand coming out of Maryland, Diamond was a top 3 pick. That was number 1. She was the second overall pick in 2023. She had knee surgery last May. I just felt though, especially with a coach like Cheryl Reeves, and I kind of can see like similarities between her and your coach in Seattle and Coach Quinn of earning trust. She fell out the rotation completely. If I remember correctly, I think the number was something like 455 total minutes over 2 years. And I just feel like she just never has gotten a true opportunity. Like Cheryl is going to go with her 7. And to me, like even this year, I still think even with Diamond, I don't know what it would look like. I don't know what it will look like for her, but I think going into Dallas, I think it's a young team. Like you mentioned it. I agree with Paige, JJ, Isaiah. They're rebuilding all of this because again, I think the biggest thing people forget about Dallas is a lot of this is this team prior to Kurt and what he brought. A lot of Greg Bibb's fingerprints are still on this team. I think a lot of people forget that. I think it's easy to point the finger and not hold the guy that's no longer in charge of overlooking, making this everyday decisions in terms of, well, this player should be on this team, and so forth. I mean, they do have 6 spots left, if I remember correctly. I don't see Arike being traded. That to me wouldn't make sense. I mean, as far as with Tierra, I just think it just wasn't. I think it was best. I just don't think she was just going to be a part of the long-term future. I think Carrillo almost below 13 minutes a game. I just noticed this. If you don't give her the ball early, it just like this. She just checks out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it just was system, style of play, and it's not just her. I've noticed this with the way the style of the W is becoming. Bigs her size are just not truly valued anymore, and that's becoming something quite alarming because we should be still appreciating players that can still do what she's capable of doing. What she did at Mississippi State, I still think should be appreciated in my opinion. But I believe she'll be on the WNBA roster. I don't know what team. So yeah. But as far as with it goes, I think we'll see how it all looks. But I mean, what Diamond, I think brings size for them. But also too, it's just a lot of running and just figuring everything out. So I give it a A for Dallas. As far as Minnesota goes, I really kind of just want to see how it all looks. I still don't think they have it all. I'm curious to kind of see how they'll look without Fee, because they were going to reevaluate her in 2 weeks. So I'm curious to see once Nae's on the court with them, which she was. I'm curious to see how they'll look. I still don't think they really truly addressed the shooting. I think which they needed to. I think they need another shooter in the lineup. That's just my opinion. But I think also too, like what we saw with Dejanay in Dallas, it wasn't enough to lift them up defensively. And also too, like you're asking her to be the one option when she wasn't that in Connecticut. She was like the 4th, maybe 5th option. So I think you're also, I think people are forgetting Dejanay, was around vet players like AT, Dewana, Brianna Jones. Now you're around Caleb McBride, Nafisa, Cheryl Reeves, I think people that can kind of keep her focused and I think can keep her mellow, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it looks. But I'm also going to give it an A as well.
Yeah, I was talking with a buddy of mine earlier about the new environment for Dejanay, and I think we both agreed. I hope you agree with this too. But like Cheryl Reeves is the best coach that Dejanay's had in her career, and I don't think it's even close.
One game is not. It does not determine.
I'm not talking about one game. I'm just talking about overall. Cheryl Reeves is the best coach. Cheryl Reeves is the best coach that she's had in her career, and it may not even be close. So
I gotta see how it looks.
I'm not talking about one game. I'm talking about in general.
But I hear what you're saying. But when you say that, you're making it, to me it comes off as like, okay, like for example, right? So let's see how they look without Fee. Number one, in certain situations, okay, for example, they got to play New York, I think 4 times. I think in this last stretch of the season, remember correctly, seeing the schedule correct. I think they got to play. I think they may play you guys. might have that wrong. But I'm just saying, like,
they just played us.
So I'm just, I hear what you're saying, but let me see how it looks first, and then like I can come back to that statement and then go, yeah, because like she did get to the finals with Kurt Miller, and was, well, the other coach, but I'm not gonna. I'll leave it at that. But
Stephanie White unleashed her. She started playing when Stephanie White became a coach. She didn't play when Kurt Miller was a coach.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, but that team was already they got to the finals, so they already had the championship experience. So she already had vet players around her. That's my point.
Yeah, and she actually praised her veteran players, AT, Duana Bonner, those types of players, or those players when I talked to her in Dallas. She also, I believe, Courtney Williams was on one of those teams that she was on. At least Courtney's last year in Connecticut. I know that.
Yes.
So she'll be teaming up with Courtney again. So that'll be fun to watch. But in terms of the guard depth, it just gets deeper. So.
Yeah, for sure. Could we spend a little bit of some time on that? We're gonna go to these next two teams.
Yeah.
The Washington Mystics and the Seattle Storm. I'm gonna go with this one first. The Washington Mystics gave up Brittany Sykes. In return, the Washington Mystics get Alicia Clark, the 2026 first round pick, and Zaya Cook, who was waived. The Washington Mystics also waived in a separate transaction Sika Kone. I will say this. For the Mystics, it is a win-win for us. Let's keep it real. I think coming into the season, like I'm not going to see how Sonia Citron and Kiki Ariafen have blossomed. I think the Mystics have been one of the best stories. To stay around 500 behind 3 All-Stars, slim before she was traded. And I think they exceeded expectations. And I just don't think you can take that away from what Sydney Johnson's done, even with the injuries. Shakira Austin has had a good year. Aaliyah Edwards, I know all this, uncertainty about whether she's going to be traded. I don't think she will be. Because, again, same thing. Last year, she was a top 10 pick. So it makes sense to trade Brittany because, number one, you're getting value for her now because she's going to be a free agent after this season. So here's Washington that's already made it clear after last year we're rebuilding. Now, as far as Seattle goes, and I looked at this stat. Since the 3rd of July, Seattle has not been consistent in winning. So I got a couple questions for you. Who goes to the bench? Okay. What does Brittany Sykes bring that maybe the rest of this lineup may have not had, that not done something before this trade? I'm going to be real. I don't think there's any excuses because I know last year we had Cindy here. We interviewed Miss Brunson on the podcast. We talked about with the team last year how it was tough. Now this year, respectfully, no, I can't. We can't be saying that. Like we can't be in locker rooms crashing out on teammates and look at the results. And I know Noelle doesn't play her rookies unless she needs to, but I I just need those two questions answered. Who goes to the bench? What does Brittany Sykes do different that Seattle did? What does she bring that Seattle doesn't have? And then to wrap up my last point is I'm also going to reach out to a friend to clarify this. I think to insinuate that Slim requested for a trade, I think I think that's a little disingenuous. Listen, it's a business. Listen, that sometimes decisions are going to be made that we all may not like. I mean, I'm going to use Major League Baseball. I'm an Orioles fan. I literally just watched half my team get traded. Okay, team stinks. Well, the team is not having a good year, and yet I watched half the roster get traded for younger pieces. That's part of a rebuild. That's part of business. It happens. It's not the end of the world. So I mean, unfortunately, like she's going into a better situation. It's not like Washington was one in 20 something. We're what I think ninth, 10th seed. If I'm understanding the sentence correctly, like Washington's been right there. So I mean, what Brittany Sykes has done for the city of DC, what she's done for brought the type of swagger she's brought to the Mystics. You know, I didn't really get to. I mean, I got to ask her a couple questions on Media Day a couple years ago. I wish her all the best in Seattle. I mean, you guys are getting one hell of a fiery competitor. But I mean, it's a win-win for both sides. I rest my case.
Yeah, so I think Seattle. Man, I don't know how Talisa does it, but she just keeps hitting these trades out of the park. I want to talk. So Brittany Sykes, I want to answer your first question. I think to start um to start the Brittany Sykes era of the Seattle Storm, I think she will come off the bench for some games. And then if I'm gonna take someone out of the starting lineup um, to put Sykes in it, I would take out Erica Wheeler. Um, and it really sucks that I'm saying that because I don't think ultimately I don't think that'll happen. I think Brittany Sykes will come off the bench. And let's say she does for the rest of the season. She brings exactly what Seattle needs in scoring off the bench to give Skylar and Erica Wheeler the rest that they need in a given game so that they can close in the fourth quarter, because that's a big issue that we've had of late is closing fourth quarters. That's why we can't beat these teams like Minnesota, Indiana, LA. We're not able to close fourth quarters. So whether it's Slim, whether it's Erica Wheeler, whether it's Skylar getting rest to be able to close out the fourth or to be able to close out games, that's what I would go to. Now my hesitation for benching Erica Wheeler is the lineups with or the lineups with Skylar and Erica on the floor are actually doing really well, and that's one of the reasons why Erica Wheeler was moved into the starting lineup for Alicia Clark. Because people forget Alicia started the season was in the starting lineup to begin the season. So that's my only hesitation. But when you immediately brought it up, I'm like Slim's gotta come off the bench, right? But that benching an all-stars is hard, or having an all-star coming off the bench is hard. And I see your point. I see your point there if you're gonna make it, but If I don't want to mess with anything because that's exactly what happened when Tina Charles came to the team, and if I still think to this day, I think a lot of Storm fans still think to this day, if Ezzy was not benched for Tina, we probably would have won the championship. And I don't want Noelle Quinn messing with someone she does, or messing with something she doesn't have to. Because you could bring Swim off the bench and have a good ass second unit. I would feel more comfortable with that. What was your second question? Oh, Brett, what does she bring? If she comes off the bench, she brings a bench scorer that can lead the second unit. She brings way more guard depth. She brings a bench. When we have the bench unit, we don't have a bona fide scorer in our bench unit besides Dom, who has really come into her or who has really grown into a really fantastic player the last few games alone. I remember in Indianapolis against Indiana, they lost that game, but she closed in the last, she was in the closing lineup, and she played phenomenally. And so she's getting more. The coaches are trusting her more and more and more. And I mean, Skylar said it at the beginning of the season. We're going to see her play more and more and more down the stretch, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So they don't have much scoring off the bench outside of Dom, which is really concerning. So I think Brittany is going to bring a lot more scoring. I think her defense is the biggest bonus that a team like Seattle can have because they are so good defensively. They're the second or third best team in the league defensively. Yes, Nate, you have a question.
I have a question. So let me make sure I understand this. So you said, okay, you don't have scoring off your bench. Okay. So if that's the case, so you mean to tell me you as a cohesive unit, you're going to lean into your strengths on the defensive end because you guys have the worst offensive rating and shoot a worst 30% behind the arc. So you're going to lean on your defense.
That's basically what we've done, and it's not been able to. We haven't been able to close games, and that's there. Yeah, Slim gives us more offense, and it gives us way more offense than Alicia's given us this season. So that's
absolutely, I agree with that because Slim can get to the free throw line. I'm not disputing that. Alicia, I believe, was shooting under about 29%, and Slim shooting over about 32%. But I'm talking about Tiffany Mitchell. I'm looking at Gabby Williams, like Lexi Brown. I think is starting to get back into the mix.
Yeah, she was before she didn't play the either the Indiana game or the
Mackenzie Holmes. I don't like.
No, I don't.
I like this. I'm confused. So like this. I mean, it's a good. Like I'm not saying it's a bad trade at all. I'm. Okay.
No, I think it's a great trade. I think it's a great trade for Seattle.
It's a great trade. I just don't really see like other than okay, you're getting another defender. I mean, who can create offense, but I feel like
offense. He's averaging 15 points a game.
I understand that, but I'm saying it kind of reminds.
I don't think you do because that's 2 or 3 times more than any bench player that you mentioned besides Gabby Williams, who's a starter.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying it kind of reminds similar to when Slim was here. We had Tosh and Ariel. Kind of have 3 players that can all do the same thing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Ariel's more of a 2 guard than Erica Wheeler is, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, I mean, we'll see how it looks. I mean, I still think you guys need a 3-point shooter. I mean, like a Rebecca Allen.
No, what we need is rebounding.
You have it. She's 6'6" sitting on the bench.
Then why are we 12th in rebounding?
Ask your coach. I mean, that's on. But also too, that's on your players too. A coach can't tell players how to rebound. That's on the 5 leads on the court. Because you guys, again, one of the best defensive ratings, one of the best.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we'll see how it looks. But I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I just feel like this right here, whatever this is in Seattle, I feel like it. Because I feel like Noel gets Noel gets a lot of flack. I mean, I think some of it's for the wrong reasons, but like, we'll see how this looks. I think you guys will be fine though. It's a good trade.
Yeah, I think it's a really big step in the right direction. I think we need more offense, and I think that's been evident definitely the last few games. But Slim's coming in. And she's obviously gonna create more offense. I think I mentioned it in the piece that I wrote, but just briefly. But Slim is a great culture fit, I think, for Seattle. I think
Sure.
the last couple of years they've shown that at least what I've seen. I've written about this multiple times, but they got Jordan Horston, who's a gritty, nose to the grindstone kind of player. She works hard. She has a ton of potential, but she kind of like fits the Seattle culture. And that pick, and just watching that team that didn't do so well that year, I watched that team and I could kind of see the culture that they were building. And then they added, or that free agency, they needed a point guard. And I said I wanted Skylar, Natasha Cloud, and Courtney Williams because they fit the culture and they fit what Seattle's all about. So they got Skylar, and then they got Nika, who's another culture fit. Nika Mule in the draft. And so you look at those players and you can see that they fit the culture. So when I look at Brittany Sykes, I can see that she fits the culture of Seattle. So I think this is a great culture fit. That's why I don't think I don't buy into anything like, oh, this player, for example, Marina Mabry, if she was traded to Seattle, that her and Skylar would clash. I don't buy that with a player like Brittany Sykes and Skylar Diggins.
They were who?
I don't. Huh?
They did what? I'm sorry. Say it again.
Oh, they just clash. Their personalities would clash, and I don't believe that. I don't think they would. I don't think they'll have any problems in the locker room. Now, I could just definitely be wrong, and that would be honestly shocking.
Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. That's okay.
I do want to say with this move for Seattle, they do have one roster spot left, or available. So I'm curious to see if they add anybody. As I said earlier, we need rebounding.
Guys that have about $56,000 in cap space.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we have some cap space. We had a lot more than we did when we had it was mainly Zaya Cook's contract. I talked to a buddy of mine about if we could add somebody off of free agency, and he was like, "Nah, you got to make a trade before you do that." So
Yes.
So now that we got Zaya Cook's contract off of the books, we can go get someone. I talked about it earlier, and we talked about it in the trade earlier. If I'm Seattle, I go get Tiara McCowan, and I need her for rebounding, and I need her for post depth, like we mentioned, or like you mentioned earlier a little bit. I'm not really high on Mackenzie Holmes. It's just I don't think it's working out.
Brenden.
I don't think it's working out, so I go get rebounding. I go get Tiara McCowan.
Brenden,
But I don't know what they'll do.
I'm confused. Brenden,
I'm
hold
confused.
on.
They're 12th in rebounding.
But
They're second in defense. They're 12th in rebounding. I'm confused.
So you mean to tell me you're going to go out there and get Tiara McCowan when you have Dominique literally sitting on the bench?
She's playing more minutes. What are you talking about?
But I'm just saying, you think.
Oh, okay. If she's sitting on the bench, are you benching Ezzy?
But I'm saying, well, let me rephrase that.
If you don't want her to sit on the bench, are you benching Ezzy?
But I'm saying you're saying getting Tiara McCowan fixing the rebounding issues.
I'm not saying it fixes it. I'm saying it makes it less worse.
So between NECA, Dominique, and Ezzy,
you mean rebounding?
So is that a player thing, or is that so you mean?
I have no idea what it is, man.
And you think Tiara McCowan can fix it? I
didn't say she'd fix it. I'd say she'd make it less worse.
Makes it worse less in what way?
Because she's tall and she can rebound the basketball, and she contributed to Dallas as one of the best rebounding teams in the league.
Okay.
And she's available.
But you need shooting. You need offense. AJ, let's go to commercial break, please. Please. Thank you.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. This one final thought. Hope you guys have been liking. I meant to say this as an introduction. I didn't even introduce the podcast. I just realized that. Oh my gosh, that's okay. We've seen all the cosmetic changes and all that different things like that. But I do have an announcement. But we'll say that for the episode. But the one final thought is we are going to get into some last minute before the trade. Last minute predictions, buyers, sellers. Any ideas? Because like I said, tomorrow as a 3 p.m. is the deadline Eastern Standard Time for the WNBA. Brenden, any ideas of who be some sellers or buyers?
I don't see Seattle being buyers at all. I don't. I think they're pretty. I think they're going to stand pat at the deadline. I don't think Washington's done. I don't. I think they could make a move or two. I don't think. I think Connecticut could do something tomorrow. I'm trying to think of other teams.
Indiana could possibly make a move.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because they definitely need because Caitlin, this is what her third soft tissue injury. They need some wing and front court depth. Honestly, at this point,
they've been playing well. They've won 5 out of the last 6 games.
That's for the first time since 2015. So
yeah, and they did it all without Caitlin. And I asked, of course, me being very uneducated, I didn't realize how good they were doing when I talked to Lexi and Coach White, but I got some really good answers about how they're able to be so, or like stay together and be so successful without
sure.
Caitlin on the floor. Yeah, I don't think maybe Dallas could sell some more. I don't know though if they're done or not.
The only one I can see on that one would be Nyesha Hines-Allen. That's it.
Yeah,
I can't see them moving on from Enrique.
That's interesting. That Enrique is very, very, very interesting, especially with the expansion draft coming up, because
I think she's a restricted free agent too.
Yeah, but if they keep her, if they extend the qualifying offer for her, I don't think they're going to have enough room to keep both Liuru and Louisa, who I have either Portland or Toronto getting one of those two,
right?
One of those two players. And I really, really want Portland to get Louisa.
Yep. Golden State, I think, would be interesting to watch. I think
that's what I was going to say too.
I think since losing Kayla, I think her injury, took the wind out their sails, and then unfortunately they lost this evening to Vegas. That's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they have the picks, they have the talent. They need a lot. They need depth. They need another shot creator, 3-point shooter.
Yeah. You think Atlanta makes a move?
No. If they do, they need a 3-point shooter. They need a 3-point shooter because I think they have the pieces. It just really come the fourth quarter, they just got to bring it all together. And then we're still waiting on update on Ryan. So, Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's another one.
I'm not going. You know what? I'm not going to say anything on them. Where's that? No. Los Angeles. I think they're right. I think they're fine. I'd be surprised if they make a trade. I don't know. At 10th place, that'd be for 10th right now. I think from like the second seed all the way to the 10th, it's like mildly inconsistent. But also too, y'all, like with injuries and stuff like that, it's gonna be interesting to watch. See, so New York, I don't expect the super team 2.0. I don't expect them to make any moves because they just got Emma. They just need to get back healthy. So
Yeah.
Phoenix.
I think they're good too.
They need a 3-point shooter. They need some front court help. They do. Yeah, because for some unknown reason, I don't know. And again, we'll talk about it in another episode. But yeah. Okay, yeah. And there's the Mystics. There's us. We're not trading Leah Edwards. So nor Shakira Austin. So the Mystics are fine. We're still making the playoffs. I'm going to guarantee that. And y'all can disagree with me all you want to, but the Washington Mystics are still making the playoffs.
I'd love to see that.
Guaranteed.
I was waiting for you to say that to get that. I was like, where's it at? I would love to see that. I would love to see them make playoffs.
Yep. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Tune in again for the remaining. I have the weirdest feeling we're going to see something strange tomorrow. This will be the one trade. You go, what? If I don't know. So I don't know. I have a weird feeling something's going to happen. So, but anywho, be tuned be tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, for future episodes. Brenden and I will be back on. We're going to talk about the rest of the WNBA. We're also recap the rest of the trade deadline post and give grades and take it from there. Because we are now in August, you got September, and then we're going to bring back One Goal, One Mind series, playoff of 2025, playoff of WNBA playoff edition. So be tuned in for that. But until then, this is your host, Nathan on the Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. My guy, Brenden Potts from World Explosion Report, and fan and reporter of the Seattle Storm, and he will be the feature reporter of the reborn Portland Fire. I saw the shirt. I see you, buddy. You do big, great things. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you on the flip side. Stay safe out there. Check on loved ones. And also one final thought. I do want to send my thoughts and prayers it was in Georgia. I want to say it was. It was a facility, Army base where 5 soldiers were shot. All expected to maybe go full recovery, but I want to send my thoughts and prayers to those that were affected in that shooting. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. Have a good night. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming or act like I know this was coming because I did it.